Ladies and gentlemen, students and scholars, teachers and trainers, professors and professionals, those who belong to the field of English literature, language and grammar. Dear friends, especially our Indian scholars, those who are preparing themselves for appearing in any competitive examination, basics and fundamental of English are very important for them. In every class, they have to revise, recollect, and remember them time and again. Basically, parts of speech that we have studied and that we are going to study, why do we forget them? Because the lack of concept of English grammar. Foundation course of English grammar provides us the infrastructure and platform to remember one word meaning of the parts of speech. Very simply, while listening, reading, writing, and speaking English correctly, naturally, it needs the complete understanding of the words and sentences. For learning any language, any new language that we learn, Hindi, English, Punjabi, initially we know that in the first stage, first and foremost thing, we are to be child. Like a child, we start learning. We recollect our past, our history, our stories that help us in learning a lot about language. So this is the first step of learning to be a child. Dear friends, sound and light is the base of all languages. Further, the sound modified in the form of consonant sound, vowel sound that we study in the form of alphabets, especially in English. Later on, next of the alphabets, we read word. What is a word? It is a group of letters. What is a phrase? A group of words which makes incomplete meaning and incomplete sense. What is a sentence? A group of words which makes complete meaning and complete sense. These are the classifications and steps that we are to follow for learning English language naturally and correctly. How to make sentence? What are the parts of sentence? How we can understand the term phrase and sentence? Phrase can be compared with a plant, and a sentence can be compared with a tree. Like that, a tree has its all parts, bottom to top, root to fruit, first to last. And tree is always meaningful. But if we talk about the phrase, about phrase we say that a group of words which makes incomplete meaning and incomplete sense. Means speaking in the form of phrase. Reading, writing, listening, speaking in the form of phrase means incomplete meaning and incomplete sense. Sentence is the starting for speaking, reading, writing, and listening. But sentence is made by word. While explaining, describing, defining anything in the form of person, place, and thing that we have around us, we explain them in the form of word. Our mind needs word. If we have word, then one word inspires us, motivates us to speak around us. The things that we have, we can explain them in the form of person, place, and thing. If we have anything around us externally, it has its color, size, shape, figure, and importance. So we can speak according to the external features of the things. If we want to explain any personality, then for showing, expressing any personality, we have read personal pronouns. In the form of speaker, we use I and we. In the form of listener, we use you. And in the form of about whom we talk, then we use he, she, it, they. These are the words that help us in speaking about any person and about any conversational or about any dialogue. If we want to explain, describe, and define any place, we also use personal pronoun, that is it. Time and again we are to imagine, we are to think, concentrate upon the word it. If we speak, read, write, and listen word it, then it automatically generates, creates, and operates different ideologies. Then we start speaking different ideas through it. Dear friends, this it is not only used for the non-living things, but it is also used for explaining, defining, describing birds, plants, trees in the form of 84 lakh species that we have around us. We can explain them easily while using it. So this it word to be imagined by our scholars, by our learners, then this it make them easy to understand, to speak, read, write, and listen the complete information about any text. If we want to understand any text, any newspaper, magazine, firstly, the first technique while adopting the reading skills, that is skimming. First, we are to skim. Our mind starts measuring the passage is related to what? Is that related to agriculture? Is that related to industry? Or is that related to communication, transportation? Or is it related to any other type of public places or personal places? So first of all, we are to adopt this technique of skimming. Skimming is very important for understanding the passage, whether that is seen passage or unseen passage, whether that is comprehension passage. When we start reading newspaper, then our mind first starts judging pictures, photos that we see. Our mind starts outlining and framing ideas while watching. So this audio-visual technique helps a lot in improving our skills in reading, understanding different kind of passages. Second skill in reading passage that we adopt, that is scanning. Scanning means to find out and to search out the complete information of the questions. Some passages that we read, they have questions behind them. Before reading, if we try to get the question in the mind, then it is more easy to find out the answer with the complete information. Digitally or numerically, we try to find the answer of the questions. Then it makes easy, especially our scholars of banking and in other competitions, whether they are preparing their clerical examination, IAS, IPS, and other defense kind of examinations in which they are to appear, or even they are to appear in any net kind of examinations for the research point of view. So it helps a lot to know the skimming and then scanning, especially when we talk about the language. Language generally means to express our thoughts and ideas, but to get the complete information, it is the most important objective of the language. How we can get the complete information, that will help a lot to our scholars and learners of English. So these are the techniques. No doubt, while doing listening, reading, writing, and speaking, we are fully concentrated on the words. While listening, we listen not only passively but actively. We try to listen and then we try to react upon the words whatsoever we listen in one time. On the other hand, then we talk about the reading. Reading is not a passive technique, it should be an active technique for the IELTS learner. If a scholar becomes active reader, then automatically the word creates its meaning, generates its meaning, and we can easily find out the antonyms and synonyms of the words. If we talk about the writing skills, dear friends, in the writing skill, main important words that we have to keep in our mind before writing any compositional part, that are what, when, where, why, how, whose, whom. These words should be imagined by us before writing, reading, writing, listening, speaking. These words help us a lot. Actually, these words are common words and we are to keep them in our mind. Each MR. These are also very simple words of the English grammar, but these words helps us, heal us a lot in keeping our mind in present. So for every scholar, those who want to appear in IELTS examination, NET examination, or in any kind of competitive examination, they must prepare themselves within these words. Like we can say, I am, we are, you are, he is, she is, it is, they are, when is, where is, why is, how is. These are very simple words, but these words should be repeated and recollected, remembered, remembered by our learners, scholars, before appearing in any kind of examination. Dear friends, then in the next step, it needs a lot vocab. If we have standardable vocab, then we can use these words in our permanent sort of grammar. Our all competitors, those who sit in the competition, they must know this thing, that there are two kinds of grammar that we read in the form of permanent grammar and temporary grammar. What is permanent grammar? Permanent grammar is that we have read in schools, colleges, and universities grammatically. All parts of speech, these words are the permanent sort of grammar that that makes us confident in speaking, that gives us the ready-made expressions of the language. Dear friends, if we have functional structural grammar with us, this grammar improves our employability skills. When we appear in any kind of interview related to banking, defense, clerical examination, IAS, IPS, or in other competitions, it helps a lot to be common, general and simple. First of all, with the words, how these words help us in knowing the truth of the words, because these words are the scientific words. And how do we understand the person, place and thing in defining? On the other hand, time, place and action, these are the three factors that helps us in knowing the tenses. Tense is the common concept for our readers, and we read tense in the form of time generally. Why do we forget it? Because time is not only the one factor that influences the tense, but there are two another factors that are equally important in the form of time, place, and action. So, action is greatly needed for knowing the complete understanding of the tense. Place, time, and action of the words, place, time, and action of the sentences are equally important in understanding the textual message, in understanding any passage. If we go through the English newspaper, then we must know the importance of the place of the words. Very simply, we can take the example. If I say, "Who are you?" It is in the form of interrogative form. This is an interrogative form, but its answer can be given in the form of "who I am," just by shifting the place of the words. Just by interchanging the sequence of the words, we can give the answer. How are you? How you are? What is this? What this is? When is this? When this is? Where is this? Where this is? Why is this? Why this is? How is this? How this is? So, this is the complete understanding of the words. One word has one meaning, but when one word is used in another way, then it changes its meaning. So, this thing to be understood by our scholars, by our learners of English. So, dear friends, we must discuss time, place, and action. For understanding the tense, action is very important. External actions are important, but internal actions are the most important for understanding the complete concept of the tense. Our English grammarians, those who have divided this English in the different forms. Firstly, present indefinite tense means present indefinite time. It expresses uncertainty and indefinite time, but action is definite. First, action. We can understand through the nature, the laws of nature, laws of science, economics, mathematics, external and internal all laws are defined by present indefinite tense. Not only external actions but internal actions also, like our mind thinks, our heart feels. Our mind is the storehouse of information, instructions, directions, conditions, positions, everything is stored by our mind, and our heart is the storehouse of our feelings, passions, and emotions. These are also expressed by present indefinite tense, not by at present continuous tense. Whatsoever we do by our senses, that is also represented through the present indefinite tense. So the first one tense of the present, past, and future is very important for imagining, for expressing our ideas, thoughts. So these are some of the concepts of English grammar that we are to know the complete understanding of the language, literature, and grammar. Thank you for your opinions. Thank you very much.